Your personal children are good? Your personal children?
So they are wild.
Yeah. 4.5 and how old?
6.
Oh,
Yeah, kindergarten now.
yeah, I think your one was born right before I came to this.
Yeah.
And then how are my children? Sorry, we got
And I put that in here.
okay. The one race human shirts. I love those shirts. I got one too, but I didn't wear it tonight. Are you wearing them for school?
Well, for our club, cultural awareness club, that's what we're doing today. We have a part of it.
I never put it together because Rebecca, who's your yeah, put out an email to all of us. And I talked to you before, but I realized that's one of the things.
And I don't know if you remember, but at Aces, I also did part of the class.
Stay involved.
Meeting to order, roll call, please.
Dr. Brenner?
Here.
Dr. Katula? Mr. Kozowitz?
Here.
Dr. Schumacher?
Here.
Mr. Sefner?
Here.
Ms. Shields? Here. And Dr. Burke?
Here.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Cultivating learners who apply skills and experiences to enrich society.
We have 2 public comments. Tony Morgan.
Good evening, board. My name is Tony Morgan, and I reside at 33 Hickory Lane in Oswego, 60543. And tonight I'd like to talk about employee retention in our school district. Basically, I'm concerned that we're not using every tool at our disposal to keep our staff engaged and happy, when there are simple preventative things we could be doing in order to avoid retention pitfalls being seen now throughout the working world. Turnover is a common problem that many businesses and organizations have been having recently, and Y115 is no exception. Of course, many things could cause employee turnover, but the sad thing is that many employees indicate that they don't feel comfortable speaking out or making waves. Instead, they just go elsewhere hoping for a better situation and don't even bother to voice their concerns by the time they reach their exit interview. How can we make them feel more at ease with sharing their valuable insights? Obviously, a proactive approach would be to ask for feedback while people are still in their jobs and before they have any thought of leaving. It seems simple, but it's true. You can find out so much if you ask questions and interact and take an interest in what staff members are doing. In my time as a teacher, I've learned so much from people simply by asking and listening. Everyone from bus drivers to paraprofessionals to the guy who services the band instruments are willing to share their perspective and help you be more appreciative of what they do and informed about what it takes to do it. So I ask all who are listening to my words, do you do your best to cultivate feedback? Do you answer emails, ask questions, and listen the way you should? Could you do better? Of course, we have to adopt a balanced approach lest we fall into the trap of micromanaging. Originally, I felt that the district was very respectful of teacher judgment when I came here 6 years ago. Now, unfortunately, it is my experience with each year that we're required to record what we do in such minute detail that the recording is sometimes taking longer than the actual teaching or working. Besides being unduly bureaucratic, this builds a sense of pressure for the employees that can be counterproductive. To support this idea, a recent UCL Institute of Education survey of around 1,200 current and former teachers found that it was the nature rather than the quantity of workload that was the crucial factor in driving teachers out of the classroom. Underlying teachers' decisions to quit, the report concluded, was a perceived contradiction between expectations and reality. In other words, the practice of being a teacher impeded their ability to actually be a teacher. Quite frankly, more than any increased scrutiny by computers, we need actual human resources. We are so grateful for the teachers on special assignment and the reading specialists that we have. But students who need help sometimes need a person to get them to the next level of progress. When paraprofessionals are not available, parent volunteers are a possibility, but only if you have the parents in your class to do so. Ultimately, I want to be clear that holding our staff to high expectations is not a problem, but it needs to be done in a way that makes sense, with managers actually listening to and incorporating teacher feedback in a way that maximizes all of our resources and makes a difference to the most important people in our daily lives, the students.
Ms. Morgan, I'd like to respond back. Thank you very much for your comments. We are structured a little, you sit on the board at Oswego. I know we have a community of learners committee that meets, this is our business meeting. We'd love for you to come. Also set up an appointment with Dr. Baldwin about these things and solving problems and having discussion is the best way. One of the reasons why we have committee meetings is so we can have more in-depth conversation and get to the root of the cause. And so they happen every 2 weeks at the Innovation Center, and we'd love for you to come and particularly be part of that community of learners discussion where we can address some issues at a deeper level. Okay, thank you. Perfect.
Good evening. I really don't want to talk too much. I am here because I highly respect Tony Morgan as a teacher, as someone that really cares very deeply for the education of the children, and because she's shown a high level of education to the district. So if she is willing to come before you to say what her concerns are, then I plead that you really listen, because she is actually saying something that in some occasions I have had that same conversation with me, with him, about how can we do better to retain the best teachers we have. So again, all I'm saying is she has had a tremendous courage to come before you. I know it was an easy decision for her. So I just, again, just want to finish with that. Just please that you listen to her, because she has a lot to say and to convey to you and to make our district better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now our favorite part of the meeting, and this is the part of the class recognition.
This time, I'm going to invite Lisa Adler, principal of Yorkville Middle School, to present and recognize some of the good things that are going on. 7-8 level.
Good evening. Hello, thank you so much for having us today. Yorkville Middle School, we have here today some administrators from the middle school. We have Mrs. Kerr, the Assistant Principal of Curriculum and Instruction, Mr. Schreiner, 7th grade Dean of Students, and Mr. Lipinski, 8th grade Dean of Students. The thing that really makes Yorkville Middle School special is every single one of our teachers loves working with middle school students. And tonight you're going to find out why, because we have a great group of students with us today. We have 13 athletic sports, 19 clubs, 32 different avenues for our students to explore new interests, to cultivate a passion. And one of our clubs is the Cultural Awareness Club, or CAC. It is led by Mrs. Rodriguez and Mrs. Garton, and Mrs. Rodriguez will share a little bit about the club.
Good evening, everyone. The club began in the fall of 2016. I had to look it up. My daughter was in 8th grade at the time and was an inaugural member. We did a video statement, which we showed at the Institute in the fall of the next year. So a lot of people got to see that. The school got to see the ones that the kids hid their faces because they were all middle schoolers and afraid of what their peers may say. And you got to see the ones where their faces were shown. Since that time, when we started with them just thinking about what they wanted CAC to be about, getting to express some of their frustrations, we started to include Mix It Up at Lunch. We've done that several years, pre-COVID. The Day of Silence we've done. The Fall Retreat was something we started 2 years ago, pre-COVID, and we were able to return to that again. These students may talk about that when we went to the Hoover Outdoor Education Center for our team bonding. We met virtually last year, which is when member Alejandro, who will speak a little bit later, proposed that we add more to our daytime curriculum to increase students' understanding of diversity, diverse cultures, and diverse experiences of their classmates. We submitted that to our admin, and that proposal was approved. So we started that with Hispanic Heritage Month activity that we did this past October 13th. And we also have started several years ago, sorry, it makes me weepy to think about Mr. Collins being gone, but helped design this logo that we still wear today, the One Race Human shirts that many people in our district support the club by purchasing our spirit wear from year to year when we offer it.
And who do we have with us today?
So today we have with us Lila Widener, Olivia Morton, Alejandro Ayala, and Brian Campos.
Having the Cultural Awareness Club does many things for our middle school students. It helps them to not only understand and accept other cultures, but also to admire them. It's also important that we have this club to help make our school a more safe place, where everyone feels safe to express who they are.
I joined CAC because I'm interested in raising awareness of our diversity as a school, whether it's our race, gender, or sexual orientation. We deserve to be treated as equals. As a 6th grader last year, I listened to the book Stamped by Jason Reynolds and Ibram X. Kendi, and I was inspired to stamp out racism in our daily lives. So I tried to do this all by myself by working with my building principal, my teacher, and even emailing Dr. Shim. My goal was to ensure that we had inspiring messages during Black History Month in February, and I felt like it wasn't enough, which is why I was excited to join YMS CAC, as there were other people like me that wanted to make a change. I wanted to get another chance and give the students at Yorkville another perspective to think about. I thought that CAC seemed like the perfect outlet for trying again to make a difference and create a change in how we view each other as people.
One of our members has planned something fantastic, but she wasn't able to come. So I'll share with you what she wanted to share with us. And that was, as we have to work with challenging topics with many different viewpoints, it is important that we learn how to work as a team. We participated in a team building field trip at Hoover in September. And first we had introductions. And after that, we headed into our challenges for the day. Our first challenge was the box challenge. During this challenge, we had to attempt to get everyone on the box without our feet touching the floor. We all shared ideas before starting. One of our strategies was to have two bigger people in the middle than everyone around them. We had to kind of grip onto them and hug each other and all lift up at one time. At the end, we weren't able to make it on it without one of us falling off it. The train challenge was next. On the train challenge, there were 6 of us on 2 wood planks and there were ropes connected to them. We had to move forward to get past the marker of the backpack. The way to get to the backpack was by lifting up our feet and pulling the planks up and moving the wood forward. How we all knew when to lift up our wood was by the person in front of us yelled, 1, 2, 3, up. And whatever way we were moving, the person would yell right or left. But we would get confused when both teams would go at the same time because everyone was yelling 1, 2, 3, left, right, left. Next, we had the lava challenge where we had 3 boxes and a rope and we had to get over without touching the ground. Whatever way the person would be leaning to that was on that box, the person would have to catch them and help them get over safely so that we could make sure everyone made it over. The log challenge was our last challenge for the day, and we had to get the right logs in the right slot and cross over. We didn't really think it through. We kind of just went for it, and after we realized it was harder than we thought, then we all came together and measured and made sure a strong person could carry the wood and place it down tightly. We all helped each other out and held each other up. Team building was very important to our CAC work, and we applied many of the planning strategies, and we cheered and motivate each other when the work gets hard.
So last year, our CAC team was able to come up with a new program aimed at expanding students' knowledge on different cultures, ethnicities, backgrounds, and more. The program consists of small interactive lessons, presented to the students once a month. Last year, we presented one on autism awareness, and this year we presented one on Hispanic heritage. We plan to continue these lessons consisting of videos, literature, and other media throughout the year. Although we have made great progress, CAC would like to continue to expand this initiative and create others to make YMS a more inclusive place for all. As you know, there are people who are afraid of these ideas in our district. And that's why we need your support to push these initiatives forward and to support us to create a more inclusive world for all. Thank you.
Aren't they fantastic? Thank you so much. And the Cultural Awareness Club is a great place to be at YMS. This is a club that you can do during the day so that everyone can participate. So we thank you very much for learning more about Cultural Awareness Club.
And at this time, I'm going to invite Mr. Luke Engelhardt up to honor a very important and special student athlete this evening.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Schimpf. Thank you, members of the board. I'd like to bring up Mia Natividad. Again, thank you, Dr. Schimpf, members of the board, for recognizing the unbelievable accomplishment of our junior girls golfer, Mia Natividad. Mia made history a couple weeks ago at the Class 2A IHSA State Golf Finals by becoming the first golfer, boys or girls, in the over 20-year history of our golf program to place at the state meet. This year's tournament was held at Hickory Point Golf Course in Decatur on October 8th and 9th. And the Golf State Finals is a 2-day tournament with the top 115 players qualifying throughout the state competing. After the first round, Mia was the sole leader after posting an incredible 2 under par round of 70. Going into day 2, she continued her strong play and finished with a 75 and a 2-day total of 145. The 2-day total of 1 over par earned her 2nd place in the state tournament and all state honors. As much of an achievement as that was, it shouldn't come as a surprise to Mia, as she has been the back-to-back SPC conference champion, and that's based on regular season points and results, as well as the conference tournament. So this was just an incredible, weekend for her. It's great when you play your best when it matters the most, and that's kind of just Mia's MO. She really just embraces the challenge, embraces the pressure, is steady, is confident, and is just an outstanding competitor, but even a better person. So congratulations to Mia, her parents behind us here. The former state qualifier for Yorkville and competing at the college level. So just an unbelievable accomplishment. It's just, we're so proud of her, and also to Coach Schoenfelder. Coach Schoenfelder puts a ton of time and effort into this program with her golfers. So as much of it is an individual accomplishment, she represents the team, and it's so great when you see these girls, supporting one another. And when we did the send off before they left, they were invested into it as much and loved seeing her accomplishment as much as she did, if not more. So that's really a testament to Coach Schoenfelder, Mia, for being such a good leader for her team. So congratulations, Mia. Congratulations to the golf team. Thank you, board. Thank you, Dr. Schimpf, for recognizing her and asking her to be here today. Congratulations.
Very humbling.
Very humbling.
You guys do not have to stay. You have other things to do. We won't be offended. Well.
Caitlin Paskey. Sorry, yeah. Come on up. Sorry for the confusion.
That's all right. Thank you for being here tonight. I wanted to start with, my husband and I actually bought our home 10 years ago specifically so our kids could come to the Yorkville school. And I would not change that. I had a 2018 and 2021 graduate, and now I have, a kindergarten and a 3rd grader. We are super thrilled with the school. And if I had endless time, there are so many people who have literally changed the lives of all 4 of my children. But the reason I'm here tonight is because I have a very real safety concern. Unfortunately, at Bristol Bay Elementary School, with the way kindergarten pickup is being held, I've literally been in parent pickup and drop off lines for 16 years at this point. Some in Oswego district, and then the last 10 years here. And I've never seen something so unorganized and what feels so very unsafe. Especially because I pick up a kindergartner at Bristol Grade and a kindergartner at BBES, and clearly there's a very big difference in the sizes of those 2 schools, which I understand. However, I also had kids that went to the Wheatlands many moons ago, which is a very similar size school to BBES. I'm very used to having, the kid's name card in your window and a teacher on a walkie-talkie radioing to the teacher who has the kids in the building, and each kid comes to the appropriate car. This is, it's like chaos. You are supposed to park in the parking lot and then come up to the sidewalk and then they release the kids. And then the adults are coming back. So you've got people parking and coming in and out of parking spaces, with kids walking through parking lots with their parents. Then you have, many of us have multiple children. So are you getting all your kids out of the car and coming, taking them all through the parking lot, or are you leaving them in the car by themselves? Neither, which feels like a good idea for me personally, because I happen to watch kids. So not only do I have my own children, but when I get to BBES, I have a 13-month-old, a 3-year-old who's in the early childhood program, and another kindergartner. The 3-year-old and the kindergartner are both known to be runners, and the kindergartner has some other special needs. So getting them out of the car is for sure not a safe choice, but also leaving them in the car doesn't feel like a safe choice. And having children walking through parking lots with cars coming and going doesn't make any kind of sense to me. I mean, literally, I'll buy the walkie-talkie. It's really not that hard. I don't understand. I know the question was put out to the principal and the response was, that's just how we do it here. That's how it's always been done. Okay, well, how it's always been done doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it should be done. So I'm concerned as a safety matter for, these kids are little. And I mean, honestly, I had to holler at the girl I was picking up one day. She was almost into the parking lot before I got to her because she had got released. I need to stay safe. I can't. That's all. And my other comment was, I recognize that they have recently, last year they had a different start and end time than this year. They're supposed to get out at 11:35. I can tell you today, those kids walked out of the door at 11:29. So to have kindergartners already in their jackets and their backpacks and everything else and out the door today specifically, 6 minutes early. So what you're telling me, and that's common, that's every day. So we're talking at least 10 minutes of learning minutes that these kids are losing every day. That's 50 minutes a week. That's 200 minutes a month. And I'm not trying to be a pain in the butt, but come on, what can you teach in 200 minutes? Because I gotta tell you, I could teach a whole lot in 200 minutes. In kindergarten, in 10 minutes, I've gone through all the sight words. We've talked about letters, we've talked about numbers, because I do it with them at my house too. Why are we losing all of this? The minutes matter. Every minute matters. And in kindergarten, especially, like, let's teach these kids to learn and to love learning and to get all, like, those little brains soak up all the information they can. So to me personally, safety, huge issue. The minutes that their educational minutes, also a huge issue. It all matters. So I honestly only come to board meetings when I had kids winning awards. So this is a new experience for me. I absolutely love this district. I literally, like I said, I've had teachers in every building my children have been in that have literally changed their lives. 100%. And again, I understand BGS is a smaller school, but it is the pickup and drop off is so organized, and you know your child is safe. There is no questions asked, and there's never an issue, and it runs so smoothly. And, I mean, I know we're talking a bigger group of kids, but it's not hard to make that run smoothly. I mean, I can draw you a map if that's what you need to have them do. I don't know why it's confusing, but it matters, the safety of, and I don't know what their afternoons look like, but if that's the way they do it, then you're talking about even more children walking in and out of parking lots with cars coming and going. There's nothing safe about that.
Ms. Cassidy will be addressed.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you for your time, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have committee reports, and we only have one committee that met, so.
It was
Ms.
three
Shields.
learners we met and discussed, these 3 things are on the agenda tonight: the early childhood instructional program, STARS program, and ISP classrooms are full, so we need to add some additional support. We have a health services coordinator on the agenda, and then a nurse substitute schedule or to cover any quarantine issues or issues to make sure that we have enough nursing in the schools. Those are all on the agenda.
Next is the consent agenda, and we need that entire motion read, please.
Move to approve the minutes of the September 27th, 2021 Board of Education meeting, September 27th, 2021 executive session, October 18th, 2021 committee meeting, October 18th, 2021 executive session, the activities fund report for September 2021, the final bills and claims for September 2021 in the amount of $995,849.70. And the bills and claims for the October 2021 in the amount of $2,166,684.86. FOIA request received on September 24th, 2021, and responded to on October 1st, 2021, from Nathan Thompson requesting video footage of the bus that was used for transportation for the YMS volleyball team on Saturday, September 18th. FOIA request received on October 1st, 2021, and responded on October 5th, 2021 from Chuck DeVito requesting why 2 of the District 115 board member education have non-district emails. FOIA received September 29th, 2021, and responded to on October 6th, 2021 from Aaron Callahan requesting how many kids at YIS currently have COVID and how many current COVID cases exist at all Yorkville schools, who came up with recess zones and why, and what does the rate have to drop to. FOIA request received on October 4th, 2021, and responded to on October 7th, 2021 from Katie Smicer from NBC5 requesting all unclaimed funds under the control of Yorkville Community Unit School District 115, which have not been reported or transferred to the Illinois State Treasurer. All unclaimed property which your office has reported and or transferred to the Illinois State Treasurer, and documents, data, and or spreadsheets showing all claims for unclaimed property due to Yorkville Community Unit School District 115 from the Illinois Treasurer's Unclaimed Property Fund. Destroy the January 13th, 2020 executive session recorded.
Second.
Moved and second, additional discussion. Roll call, please.
Dr. Brenner,
Yes.
Mr. Kozowitz.
Yes.
Dr. Schumacher,
Yes.
Mr. Sefner,
Yes.
Ms. Shields,
Yes.
and Dr. Burke.
Yes. Then we have treasurer reports.
Through September, we would generally expect to be at about 25%. We're pretty close to that on a lot of our both revenue and expense. A couple items of note, taxes this September versus prior September are lower. We had, if you remember last year with COVID, we had kind of a delay in some of those June receipts. And so we continued to see receipts later last year, but we should be fine from a full year budget perspective. Only item of note in local funds is we had strong registration fees this year. Last year, those happened a little bit more throughout the year, but this year a lot of those were paid upfront. And then we did get approximately $228,000 of intergovernmental payments for students we have from other schools who attend some of our programs. So thanks to the student services team for their hard work in helping us get those funds. From a state perspective, we only have $18,000, one small driver's ed payment left from FY21. Otherwise, we're up to date. We have 1.2 million that's owed to us, but that's just from the month of September. So we're on track there. And then in federal, The two main areas are the summer food service program. If you remember, in September, we had to do an amendment so that we could file for that. So we'll see that number come up dramatically, thanks to Kathy for working on that. And then from an ESSER perspective, Mr. Wesley filed for approximately $1 million as it related to ESSER 2. So we should be seeing those funds coming in as well. From an expense perspective, you'll see salaries and benefits are trending well, slightly below the 25% that we would expect. So we'll continue to monitor those as we go along. Purchase services is trending a little low, and that's because if you remember the timing of when school started, we didn't start until August 26th. So we're always a month behind in two of the biggest areas of food service and transportation, and we have very few days. So we'll start seeing those numbers come more in line once we have more activity in those two areas. And then from a transition fee perspective, those still continue to run strong, both from a general perspective and in Grand Reserve. We had $42,000 of general transition fees, and then $39,000 of transition fees related to Grand Reserve. So pretty expected. Nothing too much of note, but we'll continue to work on this. And Mr. Wesley and I are working with Carrie Frank on our team to load. We have DACs or departments that we use to kind of manage our process, and we're working with our third-party Forecast 5 so that we can load those DACs into our software and hopefully generate some more meaningful reporting going forward. So we'll be coming back to you guys with some mock-ups and things once we're able to get that data loaded, and more charts and graphs and things that I think will be, I think we're transparent now, but I think it'll kind of add to that visually appealing, and both for the community, and for the board. I think it'll be some quick snapshots that, won't be as much word. It'll be, a lot more visual. So look forward to that coming up.
I make a motion to approve the treasury report as presented. Second.
Moved in second, additional discussion, roll call please.
Mr. Kozowitz,
Yes.
Dr. Schumacher,
Yes.
Dr. Brenner,
Yes.
Mr. Sefner,
Yes.
Ms. Shields,
Yes.
and Dr. Burke.
Yes. Then to a series of personnel recommendations in the early childhood instructional skills program.
Yeah, as Mrs. Shields had mentioned in the committee report, this was discussed last week at the Community of Learners. Our early childhood program continues to grow. We are out of room in our STARS and our ISP program, and so to accommodate the increased enrollment, we are recommending the addition of a 0.5 certified staff member that will support the early childhood assessment team. We have 4 more child find screenings scheduled for this year, so we anticipate our numbers continually will incline or increase, and also the addition of a 0.5 parapro to support the added enrollment.
Motion, please.
Motion to approve the addition of a 0.5 FTE paraprofessional and a 0.5 FTE teacher for the early childhood instructional skills program as presented.
Second. Moved in second, additional discussion, roll call please.
Dr. Brenner,
Yes.
Ms. Shields, Mr. Kozowitz,
Yes.
Dr. Schumacher,
Yes.
Mr. Sefner,
Yes.
and Dr. Burke.
Yes. And we have a health services coordinator.
This was also discussed at the meeting last week, the Community of Learners Committee. As you can imagine, the pandemic has increased the workload for our nursing staff, and so we are recommending adding a health service coordinator to support our district nurses.
Need a motion?
Motion to approve the addition of 1 FTE health services coordinator for the 2021-2022 school year as presented. Second.
Moved in second, additional discussion. Roll call please.
Mr. Kozowitz,
Yes.
Dr. Schumacher,
Yes.
Dr. Brenner,
Yes.
Mr. Sefner,
Yes.
Ms. Shields,
Yes.
and Dr. Burke.
Yes. Then we have a nurse substitute.
Also discussed at the committee meeting, we are seeking the addition of a nurse substitute for the district and to help fulfill the needs in the student service department as related to the health and safety of our students.
Motion to approve the addition of a 1.0 nurse substitute for the 2021-2022 school year as presented. Second.
Moved in second, additional discussion, roll call please.
Dr. Schumacher?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowitz?
Yes.
Dr. Brenner?
Yes.
Mr. Sefner?
Yes.
Ms. Shields?
Yes.
And Dr. Burke?
Yes. Then we have a co-curricular resignation.
Motion to approve the co-curricular resignation as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, and then we have some co-curricular hires.
Motion to approve the co-curricular hires as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any additional discussion? This is absolutely fabulous. Kids doing stuff, getting involved, staff involved with the kids after school, this is amazing. So, thank you. Roll call please.
Dr. Schumacher?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowitz?
Yes.
Dr. Brenner?
Yes.
Mr. Sefner?
Yes.
Ms. Shields?
Yes.
And Dr. Burke?
Yes. Then we have some resignations.
Motion to approve the resignations as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded, additional discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Then we have a leave of absence.
Motion to approve the leave of absence as presented. Second.
Moved in session. Second, any additional discussion? Let's do roll call. on this.
Dr. Schumacher?
Yes.
Mr. Sefner?
Yes.
Dr. Brenner?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowitz?
Yes.
Ms. Shields?
Yes.
And Dr. Burke?
Yes. Then we have several overloads that need to be approved.
Motion to approve the overloads as presented.
Second.
Moved in second, any additional discussion? Roll call please.
Mr. Kozowitz?
Yes.
Dr. Schumacher?
Yes.
Dr. Brenner?
Yes.
Mr. Sefner?
Yes.
Ms. Shields?
Yes.
And Dr. Burke?
Yes. Then we have some transfers.
Motion to approve the transfer as presented. Second.
Moved in second, any additional discussion? Roll call please.
Dr. Schumacher?
Yes.
Dr. Brenner?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowitz?
Yes.
Mr. Sefner?
Yes.
Ms. Shields?
Yes.
And Dr. Burke?
Yes. And then we have some hires. Motion.
Motion.
Go ahead.
Motion to approve the hires presented.
Second.
Moved in second, any additional discussion? Roll call please.
Mr. Sefner?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowitz?
Yes.
Dr. Brenner?
Yes.
Dr. Schumacher?
Yes.
Ms. Shields?
Yes.
And Dr. Burke?
Yes. Then we have some policy adoptions.
Motion to adopt the following board policies as presented. Second.
Moved in second, any additional discussion. These were some pretty important policies. And then some of these will be coming forth over the next several months with more clarity. But these are some pretty central policies. I know policy reading isn't exactly exciting, but there are some key things I think would also help the public in terms of roles and governance structures. And then we continuously will come back to the table. with the- Let's do a roll call because these are a lot of policies.
Mr. Sefner?
Yes.
Dr. Brenner?
Yes.
Mr. Kozowitz?
Yes.
Dr. Schumacher?
Yes.
Ms. Shields?
Yes.
And Dr. Burke?
Yes. And we have more celebrations and communications.
Yeah, first, a note of sad news, just our neighbors, Oswego 308, lost a senior student early for the weekend. So we just want to send our condolences to Oswego and in that community who's certainly mourning the tragic loss. Anytime, obviously, a death occurs, but when you have a student involved, it's just terrible. And I know we did send some of our staff members to their campus in their school district today to help support them.
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, it was obviously, it was at Oswego East High School. This was the second incident we've had like this within the past 4 weeks. So our staff and our kids are kind of on edge right now, I guess you could say. Even past the point of where I thought it would be, which I knew would be pretty serious, but this is something that's going to linger on for a few more days, I'm afraid. But I really want to thank the members of, obviously there's a lot of Yorkville people that are on the SCAT team, We have a lot of teachers and we have a lot of support staff and a lot of custodians that live in Yorkville that teach in my building. I think my count, at last count was like about 40. So it was very nice for people to see some familiar faces in the building. Because like I said, it's obviously when you have that happen twice in 4 weeks or something quite similar, you know, people are on edge. So it's been nice to have that support system because our building is definitely a little off right now. So we appreciate it.
Some other things that are going on, going back to Ms. Morgan's comments earlier, I will be setting up in November, building tours and visits with staff, or just an open opportunity to have dialogue with me, to give feedback, talk about the first quarter, the things that we can do collectively as we go through the year together. We are finishing up our school improvement visits with all the buildings this week. So I believe we have the high school left in Yorkville grade this week. So an opportunity to listen to the goals, academic goals, social emotional goals, and the work that our staff are doing for our kids to support and enrich. You'll be getting a mid-year update as the testing data comes in after December. And then you'll see, as the board has, just a number of celebrations with the Tri-M Music Honor Society at the high school, 108 members now. It's the largest that chapter has been, and it's really not very long that's been in existence. Our book ambassador, Steph McHugh, is just rocking things. We had an author visit last week, Maddie Frost, the Just Be Jelly. So that was exciting. And if you're interested, this Thursday night at 6:45, there's Read Aloud Pajama Party. So get your pajamas and snuggle up, and there's a flyer attached, so there's no excuse if you don't attend. Athletically, our football is going to head to Plainfield Central this Friday night for first playoffs, so that's exciting for them. A good win over the weekend to put them into the playoffs. Or volleyball, just conference champs, and they play tomorrow night, I believe, at 6:30 here against Plainfield East. And then we have a couple things with our performing arts. Our fall play is coming up with Jake Revolver, Freelance Secret Agent, coming up in a couple weeks. And then the high school hosted the Red Paw Food Truck Festival. It's usually the chili cook-off or the chili supper, but they did the food truck. So again, nice to have some things that we're used to going on. And then November 1st, Jorge's here and he's working ferociously with others to the Day of the Dead at the middle school. So they're going to be, I think he's ordered a couple thousand tamales or whatever he did today, getting ready for that event. So more information will come. Yes, chili today, hot tamale. And then just as you'll see on the back, there's a number of calendar items for the board. If you're interested in attending any of the foundation meetings or CAC, those are on there, as well as the Day of the Dead. For those of you going to the board conference, that's that Friday, the 19th, I believe that date is. More information to come on that. But a lot of good things going on. Staff are working hard. Administrators are working hard. Kids are working hard. First quarter's winding down.
We do not have an executive session. So we do need a motion to adjourn.
We're to adjourn.
Second. Moved in second, all those in favor? Adjourn.